This might be episode 0.
It's a good one.
If it is.
Oh, my name's Lewis, by the way. You can call me Gramps.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Hi, I'm Gramps.
Hi, I'm chillybin. Do we want real names?
I like Gramps.
I'm chillybin.
Because I rarely call you Mike. I usually call you Chili.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna like awkwardly cut that bit at the front.
You're gonna cut this whole thing, including talking about cutting the cut.
Yeah.
Because we've done this at the end of the show.
Yeah. Anyway, enjoy this that we've prepared for you. Star wipe.
No, hear me out. Like we just sit like this for like a still of this, and it's just here.
Picture in picture. We're holding it up the whole time. Freeze frame.
Digital clock.
Digital clock. Tick tock.
How about you, the audience, tell us we're going too long?
Yeah.
We're waiting. We've been here for 6 days. We're still waiting for your emails.
It's so hot up here. I need water.
Live from Chili Bin's, not basement.
Attic.
Attic,
It's
close
up.
enough.
The sky basement.
Don't the Americans call it basements or some shit?
I mean, basements are underground.
You're an underground.
It's in the base. It's a basement.
We had really good sandwiches for lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of the heat up here is so.
You get delirious.
This is so far away from magic, but like my office space, we had those really cold days, really cold days, 20 degrees. But the office had the heater running.
Right.
And 2 of my co-workers that sit in my team, I work in a 7-person team, 2 of them fell asleep at their desk.
Hell yeah.
With the heater running. Like one of them is on like a fair whack of medication that like, you know, is mostly sedative anyway. But the other one just didn't have an excuse. She just fell asleep.
Sometimes you want a nap.
You get to like a nice toasty 26 degrees in an office and you're like sitting there at your computer all day writing like letters of support and shit. And you're like,
yeah. Yeah. But
one of the things that I do regularly though is I'll be talking to people, but because of the whole autism thing I have going on, I avoid eye contact and look into a space.
oh, that's fine.
And
Don't be looking straight down the barrel.
Well, the thing is because I usually pretend there's a barrel of a camera there with the conversations.
Do we need to put another camera over here?
I think I'm psychotic.
We could put a camera here.
I'm delusional. Well, because we can put one there, and then we've got our own face shots as well.
I don't have enough cameras for that. Because also, I have nowhere to put my legs right now.
You can put your legs out.
Just...
Yeah.
No, now my feet are on the shot.
Well,
you haven't paid for that.
Yeah, it's the Patreon content blurs it.
The only
Yeah, only for
also
fans.
the fucking skin on my toes.
What the fuck?
That's from Knotfest.
Oh,
because I was just standing all day.
Dude. Okay, well, now that we're doing grown shit.
But I went to the doctor on Wednesday and we did a skin check and I turned over on the bed and she saw my toes and we're like, what's up with this? Yeah. But she was like, I told her what I'd done. I was like, oh yeah, I was just standing all day in flat shoes. And she was like, oh, it looks like you've been hiking.
Yeah, it looks like
I was like, no, I just was on
Well,
my
we
feet.
did a lot of steps.
Yeah, but I was basically just standing for a lot of it.
That was actually from netball. And it was bad as well. I couldn't walk the day after the game because it was so blood blistery.
Yum.
So magic. You know what we haven't planned out is like, it's a good tester still. But what we're going to say.
For what?
For like the intro.
I feel like we discussed it over lunch.
We did, but like...
It's a casual podcast about a casual format.
Casual format of what?
Magic the Gathering.
MTG?
Magic.
Magic. The Gathering.
Yes.
That card game.
Yeah.
That very expensive card game.
You know the one. You clicked on this.
Unless I force you to click on it because...
But then they still clicked on it.
It's the biggest phenomenon. It's the wildest phenomenon as well. Is my progression from not having a Twitch channel to having enough followers to become affiliate within 2 weeks. Because like it was COVID.
Yeah.
But I
got affiliate.
I leaned on all of my friends and was like,
I think I still have it. Like, when do you lose affiliate? I don't
think
you don't.
Yeah. I don't think. Well, YouTube tried to, and it failed. But I don't think you do because there's no downside to being an affiliate because Twitch can run ads.
Yeah,
it's basically
and it's not costing them money if I'm not streaming.
Exactly. It's their way of vetting to be like, is this person worth running ads on? Which 100 is a weird mark because for YouTube to be able to be paid early days YouTube. So I've got a partnered YouTube channel.
What? Why?
Because you had to have 10,000 views to be considered for partnered. And I had one, I was like far out. I was 16, 17 years old. And I went to like some YouTuber gathering in the city. It's where I made a whole bunch of older friends of mine. And I got 2 famous YouTubers to sign my tits.
Great.
Like Australian famous YouTubers. One, I don't know if one even exists anymore, but the other one, her name's Luna Tuna or whatever her name is. So like red hair, very like, she's on TikTok now. I've seen her a few times.
They all are.
But that got like 16,000 views. And then like I did minimal videos here and there of just like live shit, vlogs before vlogs existed.
And your Sweden stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Which are cooked and hidden. But there's because one of the Sweden videos has like my housemate from El Salvador. His name was Eduardo. He poured honey on me in the shower, wearing an anonymous mask to like sexy music playing in the background.
I think I've seen that.
I think you have. I think we did a viewing party in like during COVID, like on Discord. It's like viewing party. Hey, you guys want to watch my silly YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Where I walked through the shopping center.
Or you walked down the street to town or McDonald's. Or
I walked down to IKEA to IKEA. The walk. My first video was me showing my family how much where I lived in Sweden, which was a place called Ekhagen, which was in Jönköping. It's a university town, but how much it was like Wangaratta, which is in Victoria, where I grew up, where I was born, country boy. Get the redneck out as soon as possible. Hey, I'm a bogan. This is how.
Let me go find Sweden's bogans.
It was Sweden's bogans. It's a Borgensborg. Smorgasbogan. But like, so I showed my family, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny. I'll edit it and put it together for my friends because. Why not? And then people really liked it. My friends really liked it, and like my family were like, oh, hey. So yeah, I got like 100 subscribers just off that video. Like I had like 1,000 views. I'm like,
damn,
that's more than I can fit in a room.
Yeah,
mind you, I was in my apartment in Sweden was the size of this attic.
It's not big.
No, not at all. You could charge, like, I mean, you in Melbourne, because we're in Melbourne, not going to hide that, you could charge $500 a week for this, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And still be cheap for rentals. You would legally be required to put an air conditioning unit up here, though.
Maybe a toilet. Also, no, you're not. There's no mandate in Victoria for cooling.
No, there is.
No, only heating.
Only heating?
Yeah, but the problem is, the reason people get around it is because you just put in a split system, and they do both. But the only thing in the minimum rental standards is about heating. You go to Queensland, they don't have anything about cooling either in their standards. Yeah, dude. It's fucked.
So Magic is a card. That's fucked.
Yeah.
That's what
minimum rental standards are bad. But also, they're a good start.
It's sad because, like, I know someone that just sold their place and they put split systems in with cooling.
Well, split systems are.
Which is good.
Both. Yeah.
But, like, I guess they were doing it to meet the heat requirement.
Yeah. Well, they just have to have minimum 2-star energy rating.
Yeah. No, there needs to be a system in every communal space. Something like that.
No, the language is if there is one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate.
Yeah. You can have none or...
I'm going to stick to the mansion my parents own.
Yeah.
There's not even good cooling in that, but at least there's fucking something.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Also, when you own it, you can do what you want.
Exactly. Okay. So Magic. This is just a live podcast now.
I mean, there's always going to be a bit of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
This is good. I started playing Magic. This is genuine now. I started playing Magic in 2008. I played D&D in 2007. I was in year 7 in high school.
Wow.
Or 7th grade or whatever, to universalize it.
How old were you?
I was 13 years old when I started playing
That is
D&D.
probably the most universal thing you could use.
So as a 13-year-old, 2007, started playing D&D. Then 2008, some of my friends, brought some Magic cards to school. And like at lunchtime in the library, we're playing Magic. I'm like, oh yeah, I can get around this. It was around the time of Shards of Alara, but like Mirrored and Besieged had come out.
Like some sets that we look at now and go, man, there's some sick cards in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Border Posts. Mers.
Yeah.
Or Mirrors, whatever.
Myers?
Myers?
No, Meyer is a different thing.
No, I think Mers.
Yeah.
But Mers were there. Memnarch and all of that, like Phyrexian stuff, because they said afterwards New Phyrexia.
Yeah.
So that's when I got into Magic, and then I got out of Magic about So I started 2008, got out of Magic about 2010 because it's expensive and I was a kid.
Yeah.
Hard to get into. And I only played with people at high school.
Yeah.
Didn't play with anyone else. And there was only 3 other people at high school that played it. So
Yeah.
And I didn't know Commander was a thing. So we played Standard.
I feel like it barely was at that time, right?
Barely was.
Yeah.
And so I played Standard. And then PAX Oz started 2013.
Yes.
I got heavily back into Commander 2013, 2014.
Wizards also came to PAX
For those first ones, yeah.
For the first, what, 2?
I think so. Until 2015, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got back into Magic, but not specifically Commander. I got into Constructed and like doing like drafts and stuff like that.
Well, that's limited, not constructed.
Sorry, limited. Yeah. Got into limited. I only got into Constructed once when I went to that Modern tournament.
That was funny.
That's a later story.
That's funny.
But so I got into limited, and then my mate Rolly, a dude with a really big red beard, for my birthday. So yeah, got into limited, just a tangent on tangent, and then got back out about 2015 when I moved to Sweden.
Yeah, you're not going to take all those cards with you.
No, not at all.
Do they print them in Swedish? No.
No, and they've actually just reduced the amount of other languages they're printing as well, which is really sad. But so I got out of Magic, got back into Magic again 2017.
Yep.
Because my mate Rolly and I would play it, and we would play Commander. Ish. Like we do like pack wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Were you doing like one-on-one Commander or like full
It was
player?
1-on-1.
Yeah. Different rules.
Well, we didn't know that, so we just played Commander rules.
Yeah.
But in 2018, we bought our first pre-con decks,
Right.
which were oh no, we didn't play Commander. Because they had the Planeswalker decks.
That's right.
So we would play the Planeswalker deck. So I remember I had the Liliana deck
before Oathbreaker.
Oathbreaker existed. Because the Planeswalker decks weren't singleton either; they were 4 of.
Yeah, of course.
But because you could buy the Liliana deck, and the Liliana deck there was Liliana the Necromancer. You could buy the deck, open it up, sell the Liliana herself back to the store, and then buy another one of those decks.
That feels like fraud.
Welcome to Magic. That's why people we know don't play it.
Infinite money cycling glitch.
Kind of. So yeah, no, but I bought the Liliana deck, and we would play that stuff together. And then 2018, he bought me a deck called Subjective Reality, which was a Esper, my introduction to Esper.
It started so early.
White, blue, black, a Minotaur, the Fate Shifter.
That's what the deck is called. Yeah.
Subjective Reality, because whatever you think the rules are and whatever you think is real, I decide.
Like the main thing people know a Minotaur for is it's not even the alt where you rotate, right?
It's you draw a card and put a card back on top of your deck.
Which one of the loyalty abilities is
+1.
Yeah, so like that's not hurting your ability to play a Minotaur.
No, exactly. Also with your +1, because there's the concept of miracle, which is, if you've drawn the card, you pay for its miracle cost.
And it's usually a lot lower.
Significantly. I think it's like Terminus. Yeah, Terminus is a 5 cost card, I believe, for a board white.
Yeah.
Or Miracle white.
Yeah, I think that's.
I've done that in a few of our Commander games.
Yeah.
Miracle white.
Do you have to play it as soon as you draw it, or is it just if that's the first card you draw?
If that's the first card you drew.
Right.
Yeah. So you would just like the amount of times I've cycled Terminus back on top of my deck.
Oh no.
With a Minotaur.
Yeah. Yeah, there's cards that will let you pull a card from your graveyard, put it on top. Yeah.
And then also because you're when you're getting introduced to Commander, but also 4-person when you're playing it with a 4-person format, there's cards in there that do things for the amount of times you've played your Commander from the command zone. So if
not a lot, but yeah.
If Minotaur's a 3 cost, the amount of times I've won games because there's a card, it's a black card, and it's when it enters, I think it's like Grave Walker or something like that. It's a black card. Put it on the battlefield. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each time your commander has been cast on the command zone.
Right.
Or if they can't, rounds their life down by half. So half your life.
Oh.
So do that 7 times.
Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, Subjective Reality. That was you
getting Commander, and then Commander. I've played ever since. I didn't always buy the Commander products, but like stayed heavily into it. I missed the core commander product, the big commander product, which is the Eminence Commanders, which is like
So what, Commander Legends?
yeah, no, it was
No,
before Commander
before that.
16, I think, or
Yeah,
17.
yeah.
So I missed that one, but I got into an 18 because yeah, Eminence like Aloro, Edgar
It's like what?
Markov, Tiamat.
And aside from like, there was one I think in March of the Machine they put Eminence on, but that's like the only other time they've done it. And there's like what, 5 ever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and that, but then yeah, been Commander ever since. That's my Magic history so far. I have a collection. I like to do a PowerPoint presentation on my collection once it's sorted, so probably every 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I got about 20,000 cards now.
Okay. My history is a lot shorter. You got me into the game.
Whoops.
I was trying to work it out earlier because like I struggle with like once it gets past 2 years since I've started doing something, I forget exactly how long it's been because it's just like it's just a thing I've done for a while now. But I feel like it was
Maybe 2021.
right before Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
Yeah.
So it was like at the end of a year.
Yeah.
End of 2020. Does that feel right?
Feels right. I'm gonna look it up while you talk.
Yeah.
Because yeah, no, Kamigawa had just come out.
Yeah, because you were basically saying like, I think one day you were just like, do you want to try it? And I was like, you know what? I've never actually given it a go.
That's 2022.
Okay, so maybe it's the end of 21 then. Yeah. That makes sense because I was thinking of it as like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And so this is 2021. We're now 24. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I grew up around people that were like, ooh, Magic's for nerds. And I never knew anyone that played it. And I'm actually so mad at former me for never looking at it.
Yeah.
Because I deeply love it and am so thankful that you showed it to me because it is now a thing that I really enjoy. And it's, I guess, like, there's a lot of negative discourse about Magic lately, but I'm not playing the formats where that's relevant. Like, I'm playing Commander almost exclusively.
Yeah, we're not playing modern.
Yeah, or I'm doing, like, sealed events, pre-releases, where it's like this nice little self-contained thing. I don't have to worry about, like, standard rotations and meta. It's like, someone bitches about a card on Twitter, maybe I hear about it, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'll just play with my friends and we'll do this thing that we enjoy.
Here's me bitch about standard on Arena and my tinfoil hat that Arena cheats.
Look, man, as a software engineer, I could see them doing some stuff to curve power gamers down.
There is a full thread on like the most black market like website that is just they've done the numbers.
Oh, okay. Show me that later. But yeah, so you were like, do you want to try it? I was like, yes. And then I think you brought some decks over.
It was the Landfall Omnath.
Well, so the thing is, I was thinking about this before. I remember buying the Rakdos Commander Precon from Crimson Vow.
Yes.
The Strefan Painter one, Vampires.
Yeah.
Blood tokens.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I bought that before or after we had like dipped my toes in it.
I think the toe dip happened first because I brought decks over. Like, it was, still COVID still going in between the travel rules and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and this was like the house I was living in. I remember living there when we had another lockdown. Yeah. So there were still lockdowns and shit happening. Yeah.
So I bought the Naya Land Matters deck, which had
Land's Wrath.
Land's Wrath.
Yeah, I've pulled cards out of that for a land deck.
Omnath and stuff. Zendikar had a really cool commander thing with it, and then I brought the Spirit Squadron deck, which I think was from Coldheim.
Yeah. Did you also bring Prismari, the Is It one from Strixhaven?
Brought Prismari, and I brought a Minotaur.
Yes.
Prismari and it's in the Strixhaven one.
Two of us, it was Alex, and I can't remember, was there a fourth person there?
There was no fourth person, just the three of us.
We were just fucking around. Yeah.
And what was it? Alex had the Land's Wrath one, I think it was.
Yeah. Because I think that was the beginning of his very messy board state, because a lot of shit was happening.
Yep. He does it.
Yep. But yeah, and that was like the first time I'd ever actually played Magic. I think somewhere around there I downloaded Arena and used that to like teach myself the basics. It might have been before that, just to do like the initial sort of onboarding stuff of like, here's how a turn works, here's how colors work. But yeah, not long after doing that, I bought that Strefan deck.
The Blood Token one.
Just as a way of like, I want to have one of my own that I kind of get used to. I only ended up playing it a couple of times before I started fucking building my own shit. My collection is also in the 5 digits.
Nice.
In a very short order because I mean, I'm fortunate enough to work a job that pays well.
Disposable income.
And I've found a place to put it. And also, like, I got into it during COVID, so I wasn't traveling. I had the money to do stuff with. But I'm up to now, out of the commander decks I built myself, I got 19 that I would say are like active.
Oh.
Yeah.
You actually have more than me. Because like, I've got...
Like, there's some that I want to go back to and like do some swaps because I haven't touched them in a while, and I keep a list of thoughts of like, oh, I found this one card for my mono green Titania deck that like would enable an infinite combo in a way that I think is actually flavorful and thematic and not just like a power gamer shithead move.
Yeah, and I have 10.
Yeah,
and the reason I have 10 really is because I got the brain damage, but mainly if I forget they exist, they don't exist to me. I don't play them anymore. And that Muldrotha is the big example of that.
Yeah.
Whereas I had a Muldrotha, the Goif Tide deck.
You were so keen to build that too.
And I played it. I played the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But then I made Urtet. And I made, like, you know, upgraded my Slivers. Slivers gets played. I got Aloro.
Yeah.
Which was
the
biggest discount ever.
The thing that still makes me laugh, looking at it now, with all the experience I've gained with the game and meta and different knowledge about cards, the first thing I built was that mono white Everson deck.
Yeah.
8 cost commander.
I don't think I've ever played that. It's not not in the last few years.
No,
like it's kind of fallen by the wayside.
I've brought it out a couple times recently because I have swapped some cards in.
Yeah.
Because that was one that I built with just like shit I had on hand, so not everything fits super well.
I've got a list of angels that I gave you.
Yeah, and then like, you know, through the sets that I've bought into, found some angels, found some like mono white card draw stuff that really helps.
Yeah.
There's been
restore balance.
Well, there's also been some good stuff in recent sets around like catching up on lands because white ramp is challenging.
Restore balance.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to get to it.
Just like start the counter. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever pull that deck apart just because it is my first.
Yeah.
And like,
that's why Slivers stays together.
Well, it's also that Everson printing from, it was like a double masters product where it's like a full art blue and orange background. Like, it's really pretty. When I pulled it, it was $180 US resale. It's probably dropped now because they've reprinted Everson and done some other stuff, but
yeah, still haven't reprinted her a lot. She's still high value.
Yeah.
And I think that, I guess one of the things as well, and going into the casual side of things, is $180 card and, you know, loaning cards and stuff like that. I remember when you made a Traxxer, and I'm like, you know what would be really good in a Traxxer? Doubling Season.
Yeah.
And at the time, Doubling Season was a $200 card.
Yeah.
I think it's down to 130 Australian.
No, I think I managed to pick one up for like 50 or 60.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Because like I said, this Card Kingdom prices are still $90.
Yeah.
So like
it. Yeah. I for a card like that, I think I looked between like MTG Mate, POG in Melbourne, and Guff.
Yeah, I look at Guff as well.
And so I checked all of those, and like the cheapest I could find was like a 50 or 60.
Yeah.
But it depends on which printing you're trying to get.
Guff.
Depends on the printing, because like if you want to get that OG Battle Bomb one that is real pretty, the one that looks like a big stadium or whatever that is, like I would love that.
Not a chance.
But that is up there.
Yeah, not a chance.
But then they reprinted it in what, Commander Masters?
Yeah, CMM. They reprinted it, and they also reprinted it in, because they had the Goose one.
Oh,
I think it was Wild Devour Drain.
No, the Enchanting Tales.
Yeah, the Enchanting Tales, Wild Devour Drain had a reprint as well, because I think Alex got a doubling season from that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I've always had this philosophy of my little 8x3 or whatever 6x3 pieces of cardboard that I have, that they have value in terms of money, but they also don't have value. Like, if you're going to play it, it goes to you.
This is the thing. Like, it's like when people talk about stocks and companies, they're not worth anything until you sell them.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, oh, I've got a collection worth $20,000. It's like, you don't. You have a bunch of cardboard.
Exactly. I have a whole bunch of cardboard.
If you try to sell it, great. Then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But until then.
And people can mess it up as well, because if you think about the inherent value of a card, you know, this is the Alluro story.
You want to get into some philosophy about like wealth and worth.
Well, this is the Alluro story, which is like, I went on Facebook Marketplace looking at Magic cards, and this guy was selling 4 Commander decks, and he wanted $1,500 for all 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a bit steep. I just want to buy this one.
Yeah.
Can I just buy this one deck? He's like, yep, $350, it's yours. I bought it, took it home, and went through, it was, again, during COVID, towards the end of COVID, like in terms of lockdowns and stuff. Took it home, put it onto Moxfield, and the value of $350 deck, the value was about $900. And see, that's where we get into numbers.
Yeah.
And I messaged the guy on Facebook. I'm like, hey, dude, like I bought this deck from you. Can you please send me the deck lists of your other decks? Because you've severely underpriced all of them.
Yeah.
He had a Sliver deck where the Sliver Queen was the commander, and he was selling the Sliver deck for $400.
Right.
Sliver Queen herself is up there in the hundreds.
Right.
So like, unless every other card is under $1,
yeah,
something's wrong here.
Yeah.
So I repriced all of
Was he just like trying to clear space out, like not worrying about it?
He still wanted to make some money on it. But I'm like, dude, you are going to get taken. Like, I didn't look at the deck list. I just saw the Allura as the commander, and I thought, cool, Esper stacks.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the worst enemy to my friends.
And
the games go for 3 hours.
It is bad.
And but then so he sent me the deck lists, and I sent back. I'm like, you need to up your price for these, man.
Yeah.
Because you are going to get taken advantage of by Black Magic players. Like, and so he repriced his decks. He let me keep the Allura for cheap, which was nice.
Okay. Nice.
So, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
What a real G.
But yeah, to wind back to my story, how I got to here. So yeah, bought that Strefan deck, then built the Avacyn, and then spent a while, like there's a couple of decks I built early that are not, like, I would need to rebuild if I wanted to run. Like, Ishin,
Ishin needs a full
Well, Ishin was like the second deck I built.
But was it off of an NCC deck? The Neon Commander?
The Commander is from Kamigawa.
Yeah. I thought it was an upgrade of a precon.
No, they never preconned Ishin. But I think, because like the way I wanted to run it, and I think I still would, because I think it's interesting, because that set had a lot of like, if a warrior or samurai attacks alone, it gets blah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the sliver effect, where you pile effects onto one thing and have it attack.
Yeah.
And Ishin will let you have a second attack phase, and all of the stuff you can happen. So I think I want to still keep that theme, but I want to rework it entirely, because there's stuff in there that like was just there because I had it and it seemed to kind of do something.
If it fits and I have the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ishin is also way up there in terms of like EDH rec top commanders, so I almost would just not do it.
You're boring.
Yeah, because like everyone just wants infinite attack phases.
Me making Malkator for I get you, for affinity.
And then the other one was Satoru Umezawa, gives all creatures ninjutsu.
Yeah. That's a cool deck.
Yeah, and like since then I bought the Zendikar Rising Demir like rogue precon, because I wanted some cards out of it for a different thing I was doing. But there's a lot of cards in there that would work well with the idea of ninjutsu and sneak attack shit. So that one, like, I'd like to revisit as well, because it's also not a type of deck I build often.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely found my sweet spot either in like Jeskai space of like, I love white, but also blue and red lets you do some fun stuff, or it's just Celestia. Like, I love counters, I love life gain. I don't know why, it's just really satisfying to me to try and like build big shit.
I've become the Wooberg player. I didn't become. I was the Wooberg person. Cause I had Wooberg Slivers, Wooberg Myr.
Yeah.
I had Wooberg Eldrazi.
I got Wooberg Sagas, baby. Tom Bombadil.
Wooberg's Tom Bombadil.
So good. But yeah, and then it's basically like it's you, me, and I'd say like there's maybe a group of 4 other people that we kind of just rotate through commander pods. Like, I'd like it to be weekly. It's almost weekly.
Yeah,
at least once a month. Yeah. We'll get a group together and
play some commander.
Yeah, spend an evening, play like 2-3 games,
and then now because like I'm trying to not get people heavily into other formats, but sometimes you find you're stuck with 3 people, or and we've got some things around that, but it's bringing things like Pauper. I've made a Pauper gauntlet now. I'm just like, I've got all these cards.
Yeah.
I've got so many commons. Let's make Pauper a thing.
Yeah.
And now I've got like 12 Pauper decks, and like throughout the day we've been playing those, and they're going better than I thought.
Yeah.
I made them. I had a fever of 38 degrees minimum, and I made 10 decks. Well, I was just really unwell, and I don't remember making any of them at all.
Hey man, but those decks kind of slap.
Yeah, they were fun. I'll be honest. Like
Yeah.
the devotion deck, I've got in that. There's a mono black devotion deck, which is just Gary, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and there's a foil Gary in there.
I saw that.
A foil original printing.
Yeah.
It's so cool, and it's being used there because Gary and Commander, that was good.
I mean, I've got it in a deck where it does work.
So I was thinking, I'm gonna make mono black devotion. I think.
Yeah, it'd be real strong, actually. All those like multiple pip cards. Hell yeah.
Sacrifice and all that stuff.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Mono black Commander when.
Yeah.
Probably won't. I'll probably make mono red burn because I just want to start winning more Commander games.
well,
I don't
like,
win enough.
So like, again, like with my very recent getting into Magic, a thing that I kind of just decided to do maybe a year or two, maybe I think it was last year.
It was last year.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna build a Commander deck for every, like monocolor deck for every color.
Yeah.
Including colorless, which I have done. The only one I haven't done is black.
Well, and that's because like I've in a similar but different vein, I'm doing one for every guild.
Right.
So every 2 color combination.
That is the thought I've had now that I've almost finished the mono. Is like, do I now do every color pairing?
Yeah, because I've got Azorius, I've got Gruul, bad Gruul. I've got
good Gruul.
I've got
fun Gruul.
Fun Gruul. Fungal. I've got Dimir, I've got Golgari, I've got Boros.
Like, I don't think I actually will, because that'll be 10 extra decks if I do every color pair.
Do it.
No, I've already got enough.
Do it, you coward.
No, gonna do mono black, and then I don't know what is next.
I'm opening up my Mox field just to see what I actually have. Fuck EDH wreck.
But yeah, that I did to myself more as like a deck building challenge to force myself to play colors I don't.
I don't think that's
and like to learn them and understand how they work, so that when I build multicolor decks, I have a better like tool set of deck building.
Yeah. And I think, and if I was to recommend anyone, honestly, actually, if I was recommending anyone get into Commander, I would say avoiding monocolor, except green.
Green is so easy.
So either mono green or a 2-color deck.
Yeah.
Because it lets you kind of learn about flexibility of Magic. And that was the thing, is starting with Land's Wrath. That deck is green with a splash of Boros, really. Like, and starting with Spirit Squadron or the Vampires, or the Is It one is it's all 2 colors, because 2 colors is easy to make.
Well, and also it means you're not running a super complicated mana base to make it work.
And they're never going to print a better mana base. Just Wizards. No. They started printing the filter lands again though.
They did.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The cascading bluffs of our things, which is like pay 1 of either color, tap it for red, blue, or red and blue.
Yeah.
But you have to pick a mode. Is that a modal card?
No, it's not. Modal is like when you cast it, now make a choice.
I disagree, because
it's not a spell. Like, that card that uses the word modal says modal spell. Lands are not spells.
Okay, I accept. But it's a mode. You pick which mode when you tap it.
It's not.
It's add this, or this.
Yeah. Like, I see where you're coming from. It's not a spell. That's what matters. Doesn't matter about, is it a mode?
Because he's lost the argument, so he's winning on a technicality.
No, I'm still winning on my original argument, which is it's not a spell.
Sorry, I'm winning the argument in my head.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Where was I going to go with that?
You're making monocolor decks
in
your deck building philosophy.
Well, just to learn better deck building.
But also
skills.
just general. I mean, it does lead into the deck building philosophies and the philosophy of what we're making going forward.
The show.
And how we play Magic as well. How we play Magic, hopefully to help inform people how they play Magic. But yeah, and the philosophy of the show, which is Commander inherently is a casual format.
By definition.
It's why Wizards don't sanction anything for Commander, never will. I doubt entirely that you will ever see a sanctioned CEDH event. Like if there's any rogue ones, sure, but Wizards themselves
No.
won't do that.
Yeah, because we've seen LGSs running tournaments for Commander.
Yeah.
But it is like in direct opposition to the philosophy of the format.
I've never wanted to be at a place less than
Yeah.
when there's a CEDH tournament going on. If you're a CEDH player, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested either. But yeah, it's when we're building our Magic decks, and I'll take my Rakdos deck really at a mindset of this red black. I feel like we should just go on a base assumption that most people know what we're talking about because
Yeah, but I think it's worth just
structure. Yeah,
restating.
my red black Rakdos deck I was building, and it's a casual format with 3 blokes that I really enjoy playing Magic with. Sometimes it's not blokes, sometimes it's blokettes, but like whichever.
Yes.
Having 5 infinite combos in there that I can have 2 of out on like turn 4 or 5, not fun. So I didn't build it.
Yeah.
Really. Like there are decks that I have that have infinite combos and are brutal, kind of like Alluro, kind of like Slivers.
Yeah.
Everyone has their brutal decks for like, cool, we got time for one more game. I'm playing Slivers.
Let's go fast.
Yeah.
Or if we got time for a long game, let's play some control heavy.
Let's play some control heavy shit. And that comes around our discussions. But when I'm building my Magic decks, I'm not always just building the optimal thing. And that's not how I build. I build type law.
Well, I would say it's more theme based.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's creature type. Sometimes it's like me building that Tivit Seller of Secrets deck where I went and found all those old conspiracy cards that are concerned with voting and manipulating voting and hoarding resources because I really loved the idea of playing as a corrupt politician with the deck.
It's Esper stacks, but worse.
Well, I heard someone refer to Tivit as game object man. Like because I've got Academy Manufacturer in there. So if I make one type of token, I make one of each of 3.
Yeah.
And I've got ways to make that effect larger.
And then metallurgic summons. Not metallurgic summons, mechanized production.
Yes, that is in there, but I'm not going to win with that. But by the time that I could win with mechanized production, I've probably done something else.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So like there are decks with infinite combos, but it's not in the forefront of my mind. It's actually kind of the opposite of the forefront of my mind when I'm building. Thing is,
with that Tivit deck, I did put intentionally infinite combos in there. I think only 2.
Yeah.
Because it actually felt thematic to the deck.
Yes, it
of
does.
Like, I'm going to lock the game down and have it be mine.
Yeah.
Because that's what the deck is
like. I'm just going to starve you all out until my infinite combo. And that's Allura the same. Starve everyone out until my infinite combo is on the battlefield, and then it's good to go.
Yeah. But also, I'm not against infinite combos as a blanket rule because the game needs to end.
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to like demonstrate a loop, have everyone like not be pissed off about it having happened, and then you go like, cool, let's just play another game.
Because I remember the infinite combo I brought in with my Eldrazi deck where I had infinite mana because of your cards going to the graveyard, which went to exile, and I put them back into the graveyard.
Oh yeah.
And then they went back into exile. Is this going to tell us when it stops filming, or
No, it won't.
No.
Well, like it might beep because the memory card's full, but it won't be a battery problem.
Okay, see.
Also, based on the test we did before, we would have to sit here and talk for like 3 hours probably.
We're getting there. I think we're like close to like an hour.
Yeah, maybe. But yes, Commander, casual format, deck building philosophy. I think you and I are probably pretty similar in that we aim for thematic consistency.
Yes. Boris Junkyard. I have a Feather the Redeemed deck, which is, if you have an instant or a sorcery spell, target a creature, not just Feather.
Single target. Right?
Single target. It bounces. Well, it doesn't have to be single target. It could be like target 2 creatures you control.
Right, but it is
as long as it's target.
targeted.
It's not like board wipes or anything like that. But like target a creature you control. When it resolves, you exile it, and the next end step it goes back into your hand.
Next end step, crucially, which means it happens on other people's turns.
Exactly. So I built that deck just around really, really, really shitty 1-cost Boros spells.
Yeah, just like having a quiver full of instants.
Heal, the Sentinel Eyes, things that let me draw, stuff like that. So Feather goes onto the battlefield, and then
you're just cycling the same spells every time.
Silly little things, as long as I have my Reliquary down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it gets a bit rough.
Yeah.
But also I'd like the cleanups. It's at end step and then cleanup. So like
cleanups after, yeah.
Yeah. So only on my end step would it suck.
Yeah.
But
when your deck's full of it, you can just find some new toys to play with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's also like scries and things. So it's about value, junkyard value.
Yeah.
And like same with Thrun Sleeved. Thrun Sleeved is just junkyard.
Yeah, but that to me is like, I think why I was drawn to Commander so quickly and so heavily is once you start building your own decks, it's a really fascinating way for people to express themselves through the types of decks they're drawn to playing and the way they play them. Like you and I could pick the same Commander, try to build it in a similar theme, and probably end up with completely different deck lists.
And yeah, and there's variation as well. What, 26,000 individual printings of cards? Like there's so much variation.
Yeah, but that to me is what is so interesting because there's 100 cards, singleton format. You know, you take call it 35 lands. That's just as like a rough round number to make the math in my head easier.
This is a debate as well.
Then you've got 65 other cards, one being your commander, 64.
Yeah.
Like, what are you choosing for your 64 cards?
And
to make your deck work?
Because like, you know, you can watch Command Zone as much as you like, and they will say, you know, you need this many ramp spells, this many bomb spells.
You don't.
But it's also a bit of an arms race if you have a small pod.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how when I started playing Magic, I had 2 other people I played against. So it was just an arms race. Cool, you've got that mono green deck. That sucks. Everything I'm going to do in this Azorius deck is to fuck that mono green deck.
Yeah, but then as soon as you start playing at LGSs or with new people, it's like, well, are you equipped to do that every time? Probably not.
Because like I've stopped putting a lot of targeted removal in because
it doesn't feel right for Commander.
It doesn't feel right, and like, you know, you could do board wipes and stuff like that.
That's maybe a blanket statement. Like, to me, it doesn't always work with the type of decks I do, right? Like, it feels expensive to be like, I want this one target removal because the number of cases where you can have it be useful versus like a target all or a board wipe is less.
Yeah.
And you've got to be pretty selective about what you put in there because it's a singleton.
And as you're going really more hardcore into certain things, like my Sliver deck now, I think has 1 board wipe.
Yeah. Just in case, right?
It's got just in case cards. Even the Patriarch's Bidding, which is pick a creature type, all of creatures of that type go from the graveyard onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Yeah.
Because I leaned more heavily into the theme. And that's one of the things you'll learn as a growing player is like, and especially I play a lot of Arena. I've learned to be aggressive. And the heavier you are into your theme, especially when there's 3 other people, not just you and your opponent.
That's the thing that always struck me with those things of like, you need this many bits of removal, this much ramp, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, all your decks now follow the same template and they all end up looking roughly the same shape.
Which means you know how to respond to them as well.
Well, yeah, but it also means that like, it's just less interesting to me. Like, if I'm going to build like that mono green Titania land deck, right? Like, there's a lot of shit in there that doesn't make sense if you try to follow that template. But like, I've got a Zurin Orb in there. 0 cost artifact, sack a land, gain 2 life.
What was a Zurin Orb with the Zimona Dina deck that Alex played? Which fucking...
But the whole point of that is like, that deck cares about lands going into the graveyard so that they can come back.
Yeah.
So I'll gain more life.
Sick.
Yeah. 0 cost, get that turn 1. I've got a cycle going. You play a fetch land, you can get that fetch land back, go and get another land out. That's why I have to keep track of how many basics I've played, because there's only 18.
And that's why I don't mind, like, in my Bulba Rigmos deck, Bulba Rigmos Enraged.
Pithing Needle says hello.
Well, I used to call it Pithing Needle's Revenge.
Yeah.
That's what I originally called that deck. But like in my Bulba Rigmos deck, there are fetches and stuff in there, but I don't mind them going to the graveyard for later times because of Pero Dice Lost.
Oh, yeah. Psycho. Fucking Infinity card in there. It's alright, I've done it now too.
Which gets onto the format of the core concept of the show, which is banned cards.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the core format of the show, but it's definitely the thing that we started with as the
driver.
As the idea is like, let's look at the ban list and actually like explore it. Try to like come up with arguments of whether or not it could become unbanned for each card on the list, and just like see what, because I've never looked at it closely and go like, man, I wish I could play that card, because I'm just like, oh, it's banned, forget about it, doesn't exist.
Empties your brain. Where I'm in the mindset of that there should be no cards in the ban list.
Yeah, and this is where we differ.
And that's fine. It would be the most boring show in the world if we started agreeing.
Yeah, but then we talked about it more, and then it like became this thing of like, well, let's actually just talk about like Commander as a format, it being casual, and like even just off the stuff we've seen in games we've played of like there's stuff we should do better around like game etiquette, social group etiquette, you know, your rule zero conversations.
I want to say something that's definitely going to get cut.
A thing that we just cut, but a point that I will make that masks it, being actually selective about who you play with for your own sake, your own protection, and the protection of your play group. Like, I say protection, it sounds heavy-handed, but it's more like you're there to play a casual format and have a fun time. Every choice you make should be in service of that.
And like, you should be there to win. And if you're not there I think one of like with the discussions things is if you're not there to win, you need to tell the board. You need to be like, I'm not here to win.
Yeah, my deck doesn't do that.
Mess with everything, and if I do win, awesome.
Yeah, and so like one thing I definitely want us to talk about on a future episode is like how to talk about your deck before the game starts. Like there are certain questions that I think every player should try to answer in a brief description.
Yeah.
Like how will it try to win? How will your deck try to win? How quickly can it do that? Like what is your deck's main function? What are you trying to do? Those are the sorts of things that I think everybody should do a better job of communicating.
Yes. I think one of the things we leave out as well is we are technically always having rule zero conversations. Every time, like, you know, Alex talking about building the Grixis deck. And as he's talking about stuff going into it, we kind of evaluate, because we're always doing the evaluation, especially if we're playing a lot of Magic, is what would I play against this deck?
Yes.
How fun is this going to be?
Yeah.
And like, you know, people when they play their deck for the first time, you let them cook often.
Yeah.
We made a mistake with that with Ratadrabic.
Yeah. Ratadrabic Nazgul's mistake.
And we never play that again.
No.
we never let it cook again.
Yeah.
Weirdly, like Minsk and Boo is less scary now.
Well, it's less scary because I know what it does. It's still scary because of how fast it is.
Yeah, 21 damage on the third turn.
Yeah.
But like we're always talking about the decks we're building, so it's always this consideration of, and I think there needs to be a heavier discussion of if someone's building a deck, like I don't want to play against that deck. Like if you bring it to a pod, I don't have anything that I am comfortable playing against it, so I won't play it.
I think comfortable is one part of it. Another part of it is just like, would that be enjoyable for me?
I don't think this will be fun.
Yeah.
And like,
you might find people that it is fun for.
Exactly.
And that's what you should be trying to do, not just playing it with whoever you've got.
And there's not many decks I don't have that I don't think I could use as utilities. I feel like in a case like something, if you brought something really broken to the table, really cursed to the table, my response wouldn't be, I'm not going to play against that. My response would be, cool, can I play Allura?
Yeah.
And
that's like your benchmark.
because like if I can play Allura, then can I play Slivers?
Yeah.
Because I don't play Allura and I don't play Slivers now unless it's the last game of this thing, or unless we discuss like, cool,
we're all at about that level.
Yeah, it's now our first game of the day. Let's start like a really big beefy fucking haymaker deck where it's like I play Allura, you play Tivit.
Yeah.
Nigel plays Edgar Markov.
It's still Edgar Markov.
Or Hydras, or Breya, or
Nigel. Basically, it's just Nigel.
Anything
there.
Out of that box.
Nigel's there.
Poor guy.
He's good at Magic.
Yeah. Which is another thing, really, where this came up on Thursday night, which is we should be responding. Yes, we are always having discussions of Rule Zero discussions.
Yeah.
But you should always be responding to board state, not to previous games.
Yeah, or to who you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like, look at what's on the table, respond to what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like when you're giving people feedback, don't attack the person, attack the action.
Yeah.
Right? Well, attack's the wrong word, but like address the thing they did, not who they are.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing here.
Because we talk about, the big meme in the group is we always say threat assessment when we mean attack Nigel.
Yes. And you got attacked first every game.
Every game. Every game. Why am I the threat assessment? Anyway, I'm the threat assessment for a very good reason.
Yeah.
Which is I introduced them into Magic, and
you always beat up your father.
You always beat up your father.
That's the law. I mean, it happens in Star Wars, man. It's good enough for anyone.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, technically, depending on what law you believe in, technically Palpatine is Anakin's father because he transforms. Transferred the life force of Plagueis into Shmi to create the midichlorian baby. fucking love Star Wars.
No, we can't put that in. Just shirts off. I mean, it is hot.
It's actually not too bad though. Like it's
It's
not
all
the
right.
worst.
It's all right now, but
stuffy.
I'm going through water like a
It's a bit
motherfucker.
stuffy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got peepers for.
Where were we?
Where
were we?
Tokens.
We're talking about the show, casual format.
Casual format we've
Yeah.
discussed. And I mean, this is as casual as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's a casual conversation. We will, like, primarily focus at the moment on the ban list while we come up with other things.
Yeah.
But the ban list is also something that is not regularly touched on. And it's very interesting to me having a ban list for a casual format.
Yeah. Because you could have a rule zero conversation and decide within the 4 that are in that game, this card on the ban list is legal in this game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you have to have built a deck with that in it.
Yes.
So you would that's like a weird.
Well, I've come across that though, which is, and it became a bit of a sore spot in the group, but we'd also played Magic all day, which was someone asked if they could play their Golos deck.
Right.
And Golos, 3 or 5 cost, colorless, and it's
Wooburg Identity.
Wooburg Identity enters the battlefield. You can search for 2 lands, and then pay 2 and Wooburg. Top 3 cards of your library, you can just play them. No, without paying the mana cost.
Yeah.
And so
you get what is that artifact that taps for Wooburg?
Lotus. Yeah, Lotus Petal, something like that.
Lotus.
Yeah, one of those ones. Yeah. And it taps for. There's a whole bunch of them that just tap for
you get
Wooburg.
some cost reduction in there, make it cost only Wooburg.
Oh, there's the gauntlet that everything costs Wooburg less to cast as well.
Yeah,
so
that's it. So 2.
Yeah,
and then cool.
And so it's this case of like, they wanted to play Golos, and I was like, oh look, I'm not prepared against play against the Golos because it's a banned card. So I said no, and then I played Slivers because it was our last Commander game. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and the what came at me a lot was this should be banned. Like Slivers should be banned. But they played.
But it isn't.
They played Jared Carthalion, the Painbow deck.
Right.
Supremely upgraded. Like,
right. Okay.
Had Prismatic Bridge in it and the rest. And I'm like, cool. This is doing what Golos does, but in a more balanced, controlled way.
Yeah.
So like and honestly, Slivers is doing what Golos does, kind of like, because I'm a trash human, so I played the first sliver, which is the Cascading Sliver. So like Slivers is doing what Golos does in a less controlled, more chaotic, very aggressive way.
You're just continually getting free shit.
Exactly. But Golos isn't even like you can do this once. Like if you can pay the Wooburg, congratulations, you can do it as many times.
Yeah, because you're not tapping Golos to activate it.
Not tapping Golos to activate it. But you know, the me who is me is like, Golos should be allowed, should be legal.
Right.
But we didn't play it because there's also 2 other people at the table who
Yeah.
probably are not prepared at all.
No.
For Golos.
Yeah.
Like, in any sense. Which bears the question though, you know, if every card was unbanned, then you would have to be prepared for Golos. And having the existence of a ban list already confines how you're building.
By what, 20 cards?
Something
out of 26,000?
Something like that. What is that?
Plus anti and
0.0001%.
Yeah, it's not much.
But like it does confine, because like some of these cards are very staples.
But as you say, like there are ways to find similar effects in other cards and get close to it in a way that is less oppressive.
But doesn't it also argue then that if there's 26,000 cards and power creep is insane now, that we could unban?
Yeah, and this is stuff that we will explore in later episodes. But that's why I think it's actually really good that on the Commander website they've now got the explanations of why each card was banned.
Yes.
Because they're not always looking at power.
Yes.
Some of them are looking at perceived cost, which makes Commander, a casual format, seem less approachable. Yeah. And that's hugely beneficial to the format.
Everyone's running Ancestral Recalls, and Ancestral Recalls are $500.
Yeah.
Which...
That's CEDH, right? They're all running original dual lands. They're all running...
And that's one of the things. Original dual lands should be banned from Commander, but like... says the guy who doesn't believe in any bans.
Well, this is the thing. What if you had one? Would you say that?
Well, because we... And this is what I like about the people that we know that play proxies. Everyone that I know that plays proxies, especially the really nice printed proxies from
like token proxy, or like professional proxy
Yeah,
providers and
the
stuff.
fame, like the one that he's like responding to. He's been responding to a lot of Magic lately, like
Right.
a lot of Magic art lately, because he's like, it would ruin my business, but just reprint the dual lands. Everyone I know that plays proxies, even from them, doesn't play like Bayou, and that they don't play the dual lands.
I think a lot of the people we know and play with regularly are proxying cards to test a deck before they spend the money on something that maybe costs a bit more.
Or they're proxying because the proxy looks cooler than a Magic card.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay with that one as long as they're not proxying a Bayou that looks cooler than the Bayou.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've met people who have decks full of proxies for stuff they will never purchase because it is expensive.
Oh, so I can't have the Lotus in my.
No. But it's like, okay, you want to run a deck with fucking 30 persistent petitioners in it. Like, okay, but you've just printed a bunch of shit off and put it in sleeves. Like, that to me just feels like anyone can download a deck and just like be super powerful.
Slap on the. You wouldn't download a car.
I would.
You wouldn't download a bear.
Yeah. Can I? But yeah, that to me is like, it feels almost like you're cheating yourself of the proper experience of Commander by doing that. It's like deck building is a self-expression exercise. You haven't done anything yourself here. You have just downloaded a list, printed it, played it. It's like, okay, is that really the fantasy you want to chase? That's maybe just a me thing. I don't know.
Well, I'm having to think about the persistent petitioners thing as well.
Well, they've just reprinted it. You can get them pretty easy.
But having a deck with only creatures that uncap the amount of creatures you can have with that name. Because there's
the rats.
There's the rats. The black has two of them.
Yeah.
It has the Shadowborn Apostle or whatever it's called.
That's the one. And then like, is it Rat Colony? Is the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relentless Rats.
That's it. Yeah.
Relentless Rats. Then you've got the Persistent Petitioners, which is a really fun.
I think the green version is like a sorcery.
Oh, it's a slime.
Right? Yeah,
it's the slime one. Slime against humanity.
But it's not a creature.
No, it puts a token down with +1/+1 for each card name Slime against humanity +2.
Yeah,
I think
something
it is.
like that.
Yeah, no, it is because it starts at 2. I played on Arena.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I played in Standard at the moment. It's fun in Standard right now.
Because Wooburg uncapped cards.
It also gets counters.
Wooburg non-singleton.
Wooburg 4 of.
But at some point, you've got to stop and have that many of it. You can't just keep going. It's 100 bucks.
Only lands, only creatures.
It's 100
Only lands, only creatures. Have 11 swamps, 11 islands, 11 forests.
33. Yeah.
And then...
No,
the math is hard.
So no, the hard thing here is what's the commander? Is there a commander that cares about cards having the same name?
Morophon.
Is it?
Because the same type.
No, I'd want to find one that like boosts them based on the number that have the same name. Because like you would never run that in Commander, but this one you might.
Sultai, same name.
Yeah, we can look at this later.
Scryfall. This is the other thing as well, which I'm really excited to express in this, is your ability to... Like, I've had my arm leaned on this the whole time. It's starting to hurt. Yeah. Your ability to do Scryfall searching is... And I think because you got the software background, is just unparalleled. There will be times I message, I'm like, hey, Syntax Daddy, could you... I need this.
Well, I think the thing that, like, to toot my own horn, the thing that I find funny is when we're having a conversation like this and I will whip out my phone and find the answer mid-conversation and you're like, oh yeah, that's the card. That's what I want. Exactly.
And it's because like when I got you guys into Magic, they weren't releasing 15 sets a month. So it was like...
they've stepped it back a bit recently, but it's still up there.
It actually doesn't, because with all the Universes Beyond shit they're releasing now, it actually feels like it's ramped.
It did, and they've now brought it back to the point where like there's something coming out roughly every month.
Yeah.
But the actual like core sets, it's every 2 months.
The standard ones,
But then there's like Modern Horizons. There's the Fallout stuff that sort of fill the gaps in between.
3, the Assassin's Creed stuff.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, those ones being modern legal, is like I know.
Well, we don't play modern,
but that means they're Commander legal.
Yes,
and it's hard to keep up.
I mean, anything's Commander legal.
Well, no, there's 21 cards that aren't.
Yeah, okay. Anything that's being released.
That's a weird concept as well. Is like there's all these banned lists, but the last banned Commander card was in 2021 No, 2021 was, I think I've got it here on my screen.
I think you said earlier it was 2021. And that was Golos.
Yeah, Golos was the last card
Yeah.
banned, which, is a bit shit. We should unban Golos.
No. No.
If I build a Golos deck...
I'm not playing.
Just hear me whine in the background.
Well, if you do that, I'll find something else on the ban list and build that. No, I won't.
I got really excited there for a second. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. September 2021, Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, and then Worldfire gets unbanned.
I think if I was going to build something that is banned, it'd be something like from an unset, something that has like some stupid effect. But I don't know what it would be.
Oh, no, because all of the really
what is it? Is it
stupid ones.
Clear to Loon that lets tokens go into your deck and be cards?
Yeah.
That.
But there's legal cards. I'm pretty sure there's actual paper cards, non-affinity, that do that already, which the tokens persist.
I don't think so.
I think there is.
That's the whole point of tokens.
I think there's ones that let tokens persist.
Okay.
How would you syntax daddy? How would you look that up?
It'd be something in the Oracle text about like tokens. I would just put like looking for the word tokens in the Oracle text and also the word graveyard and also the word exile as like separate bits. Like I wouldn't try and figure out what the sentence is.
Yeah.
But I just put those three in there as separate Oracle tags or Oracle text searches, and then just kind of scroll through. Like that's one where I don't think I'll be able to nail the exact search, but that might get me close enough.
Because I'd Google it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, tokens persist card, ?
Yeah.
And see what Reddit gives me.
Yeah, if I was feeling lazy, I'd do that. But
I'm speedrunning it.
On my PC, I've got in Chrome Scryfall set up as a custom search engine.
Yeah.
So if I type the word scry, hit tab, whatever I type in that search bar goes into a Scryfall search.
Oh, nice.
So I don't even have to open Scryfall. I just remove like 5 seconds, but I remove a step.
Hey.
And I can touch type, so it goes very quickly.
All about step removal, whereas I have to type in Scryfall, but then for some reason, now when I open Scryfall, it always goes to the hyperlink for a card. It doesn't go.
Because it's just like bringing up the last card you looked at or something.
No, it's bringing up like, I think I cleared my browsing history or something like that. Because everything was running really slowly, I'm like, I've got to try and because Chrome sucks. But I use it still.
Bookmarks won't save that. But deleting bookmarks doesn't.
Well, I deleted everything.
Okay.
Like I fully reset my Chrome.
Right.
And then I still had the Scryfall page open and I refreshed it just to see if it was faster. So I think it was my first time opening that Scryfall page, and now it's like, hey man.
So just remember that's Scryfall.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Scryfall.
Anyway, this show. That's kind of, I don't know, that's largely what we'll try and do here.
We're going to talk about casual format and keeping it casual.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll, hopefully have points where we differ. But, the core of it will be the band cards, because we're going to have like a fun little wheel that is going to slap right here. Mm-hmm. And then we will, take things out of the wheel as it goes. But then, as sets are coming out, we're probably going to look at what people are calling for to be banned or complaining about.
Yeah.
Voja.
Voja's fine.
Twitter. Voja is fine.
Let's go Voja Changeling.
Yeah, let's go Voja Changeling. Let's ban Ward.
Give everything Ward. Fuck it.
I mean, Storm's banned in Pauper, apparently. It's not, but it feels like it is.
Soft ban.
Yeah, Empty the Warrens and Grape Shot are gone.
Yeah.
Goblin players ruined it.
I think when we were first discussing the idea of like the wheel and like randomly choosing what we're going to talk about, like I think I described it as like almost debate club.
Yeah.
Because like we're gonna figure out what we're talking about very quickly, go and do 5 minutes of research, find some thoughts that we each have, and then just come back together and chat about it.
And just talk. And then the other thing as well about that is we're going to give our initial thoughts, which mine will always be the same. This should be unbanned.
Yeah, we'll see.
But because I've got a big old collection of Magic cards in my head, and
I don't.
It's like that character from Adventure Time that has the approximate knowledge. Calls him like Finn, like not Finn the Human, but like Flynn the Human. I think it is. It calls him like that. It's like, I have an approximate knowledge of everything. It's like I have that for Magic, where I know some cards that exist that do the same thing or similar things. Like balance and restore balance and stuff like that. Or Caracas and Nothing. Well, there's no lands that remove like send them things back to your hand, but like there's individual color hates and stuff like that. But like I know approximate knowledge of Magic cards where I'm like on my brain I'm like, okay, cool, this can work this way. And then we can do our little research and come back and have Scryfall Daddy.
I'm gonna have to ask Scryfall if I'm allowed to be called that.
Syntax Daddy.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Because every time we're on screen, I'm going to do lower thirds for us, and I'm going to change on the bottom every time what it is.
Right.
And if I ever get like brain block, it's just going back to Syntax Daddy.
Yeah.
But we'll have that, and we can bring it up on the screen and talk it out and get to the end of it. And if you disagree with us, you can put in the comments until I turn off the comments because you're being mean and.
Well, hey.
Calling me mean names.
Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be nice and say, Gramps, you're wrong.
Well, every time we shit on CEDH, we're just going to get like trash. It's like bullying someone that uses Linux.
I have watched some CEDH content. I find it entertaining, but I am personally never going to play it.
Do you? Yeah. I find it so boring.
I don't mind Spike Feeders. Their stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, I just don't like watching people play solitaire.
Yeah, okay.
It just feels like my dad sitting on the couch in front of the TV playing solitaire on his iPad. I'm like, oh, you're playing CEDH.
Yeah. Or me playing Tivit. I'm just going to go do a bunch of shit.
Or Alex playing any deck. He's such a good deck builder.
Yeah.
But God, is it like just solitaire.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right. That's probably enough.
Yeah, probably. We got a good tester.
Yeah, this is probably...
Imagine the audio of this is not usable as well. It'd be so funny.
It should be fine. We've reduced the gain.
This is going to be a big edit.
Yeah. I mean, what else am I doing today?